You are now listening to the smooth sounds of Iloveatiya. Ciao, beautiful souls. My name's Atiya, and I am your future bestie in your head. I am a sex-positive animal activist. I grew up in Queens, New York, and was homeschooled/unschooled for about 12 years. I was a virgin until I was 24 and attempted to have a hoe phase for 2 years, which eventually led me to being accidentally/intentionally celibate. And here we are today. My past left me with a lot of wild stories, a lot of lessons, and a hell of a lot of trauma. Thank God for my wicked sense of humor, because God only knows I would have perished by now. With that being said, this is your gentle reminder that the Iloveatiya experience was created as a safe space for me to reflect and share the lessons that I've learned from past traumas. Shit gets real on this podcast, and topics such as domestic violence, sexual assault, substance abuse, depression, anxiety, and suicide may be referenced. If you are working through feeling triggered by certain topics, this may not be the show for you right now, and that's okay. Healing takes time and isn't linear. I'll be here when you're ready. Now, without further ado, the Iloveatiya experience is an experience. So get ready for laughs, crazy story times, and life-changing pleasure tips here on the Iloveatiya Experience podcast. Buenos dias, motherfuckers! I'm so excited. You're probably like, bitch, why are you screaming in my ear? I am out of America. I'm out of America. Y'all, I literally call America a-hole because I don't like saying America in public, because then people are going to think that like I'm American, and I can't have that. So I like to call it a-hole now. So yes, I am out of a-hole, but y'all, I'm so excited for this episode because there's so much to catch up on, and I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about what the outline is for the day, but then we're just going to literally fucking dive in. I have so many life updates. I don't even remember what the name of my updates were, so we're just going to fucking wing it. It's Iloveatiya's fucking life updates. Okay, we got that done. Can't wait to dive into that. We're also going to talk about my move to Mexico. I've had some major revelations about my mental health, and I've just been really growing through a lot of things. I'm learning a lot about neurodivergency, and I cannot wait to talk about that. Also, we are going to have a segment this time around. You know, I love to highlight people with vulvas. So we're going to talk about pads and the truth about pads and how they're fucking killing us. And then I have a story time, 2 story times actually, about women who have tried to steal my men. And so those are going to be fun. And then I have, of course, a masturbation tip and some sex toy updates and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to dive in because I literally have been so excited to make this podcast. It's not even funny. Let's start with Iloveatiya's life motherfucking updates. That's what we're going to call this one. Okay, so first of all, as you know, I have officially moved abroad to Mexico. And y'all, there's actually so much stuff to talk about when it comes to this move. I physically, verbally cannot fit it in this episode because I have so many other things to say. But I do just want to give y'all a glimpse of how the universe really was just throwing the most random stuff at us when it came to trying to get here. Because I realized that this was not the most smooth transition from a-hole to Mexico. But I know that was because the universe just wanted us to know how resilient we can be. And I told y'all, I was talking to my friend about how solution-minded I am. And then right after that, my life started crumbling and I couldn't find solutions. So I realized that the more solution-minded I can become again and remember being, then I can definitely like rearrange my life to not feel so heavy and painful. And I also realized that moving affects my mental health. But we're going to get to all that. First, I want to tell y'all about this one story when we first got to Mexico. So we're standing in line at the airport, and normally when we get to Mexico, yes, there have been times where, you know, customs has been very crowded, but usually it will move along. For whatever reason, customs was so backed up and was so hot. Now, I don't know if a lot of y'all know this, but I moved with my cat, with my baby, and this was her first time moving abroad. She's been on a plane before, you know, she's been in her carrier for a while before, but this was a lot. This was a fucking lot. Just like me, she gets very overwhelmed around crowds. And again, it was very hot. So I was just trying so hard to like keep her cool. But honestly, she was so calm. I don't know if she was disassociating through the whole thing. I really don't know. She didn't start freaking out until we got outside once again, because it was really hot and a lot of loud people. And she was just fucking done at that point. And I get it, because it had just been an adventure. So I felt really, really bad about that. And I think that first of all took a toll on my mental health, definitely took a toll on her, and definitely added an extra factor to my life, and to my move more so, because even as soon as we got to the apartments, I literally had to run out the house, go buy a litter box, buy some bowls and extra food. Like I had food for her and stuff like that, but buy some toys and stuff because I literally wasn't allowed to bring any of that with me to Mexico. Now, I probably could have brought some more dry food in now that I see, but online they will literally tell you all this shit, but tell you nothing at all. Just, if you ever need to travel with a pet, don't Google it. Call somebody, because Google literally gave me the full-blown runaround. My vet was trying to get me to get all these fucking vaccines and pump her up with all this shit that I know would make her sick. It was just a lot. Oh, and boy, do I have a conspiracy theory about motherfucking the veterinary medical system for animals and pet food and breeding and all of that stuff. It's a lot. I did not know that dog food cost this much. Random thought. But we're going to get back to the airport because I really have been trying so hard to work with my ADHD and staying on track. And I told y'all we're going to talk about neurodivergency in a second. So I'm standing in this line because my mom and I were in this first line and we had kind of gotten towards the front, but then there was this other line on the other side of the airport where they're like, oh, you just have to show your passport and then you can just go through. You don't have to wait in this long ass line. It's like supposed to be quicker. Y'all, tell me why my passport wasn't working. So I had to still wait in a line. And this line that I was waiting in was being shared by another line of customs of people who had been waiting probably for like an hour. So anytime that somebody from my line would get called, the people next to us would get an attitude because they're like, what the fuck, we've been waiting here for so long. Who are these people randomly standing on this short line over here waiting? So there was already that chaotic energy, right? So there's this black family that I had noticed from jump. And you ever just notice somebody and you wonder why you notice them? Now, granted, when we're in Mexico, we always speak to black people. We were like, hey, cousin, so it's not really that rare for me to peep that there were a black family. And it was one woman and a whole bunch of men. So, of course, I seen that. I seen it. But I don't know, energetically, something just shifted over on that side, right? They got to the front of the line. And I, for whatever reason, was paying attention to like one of the attendants over there. They usually have the like TSA people. I think they're TSA agents that help push people in the wheelchairs or help push the handicap, right? So there's a black woman and she starts calling on somebody kind of frantically. And long story short, because I'm not about to take y'all through the whole trauma because I was literally traumatized and I know that she was traumatized. But her brother, I guess I ended up figuring out, started fainting, like literally started passing out, and like his knees started buckling. All the guys that are with him are like holding him up, and the girl's like, help, help, help. So she's just asking the girl, like, help him. He's like pointing to his knees, but we're in Mexico. She's not speaking English, like, or at least she's not fully understanding the severity of the situation. It's not that nobody in Mexico speaks English. It's just that's not everybody's number one language, and that's okay because it's Mexico. Also, thanks to this situation, I learned how to say help in Spanish and help me, and it's ayuda or ayúdame. I might sound really crazy right now because, like I said, I don't even know if I said this, but I just woke up. So I'd be trying to roll my R's really hard. I'd be like, gracias. So I think that it's really said like, ayúdame, but I was like, ayuda. Anyway, so she starts screaming because the girl that she was asking for help from, she was asking frantically, but it wasn't as frantically as she was about to get the woman. So the woman's asking the girl for help. The girl goes over to the customs agent, but I think she's obviously not getting help enough. And the girl's also like smiling while she's talking to the customs agent. Like, I don't know if she really understands how serious this situation is because the guy is literally fainting. His eyes are rolling to the back of his head. Now, I told y'all I have emetophobia. Whenever stuff like this happens or people just look like they're out of it, in my mind, they're going to throw up. So I went to go put my fingers on my ears and I'm like, Atiya, stop. That's so insensitive. Like, he's not going to throw up. I'm trying to calm myself down. The energy's already heightened in the situation. So I got my cat. It's just a lot. The girl's obviously not moving fast enough to get the help and is not telling the customs agent because she's not, at this point, they're looking at the guy, but like nobody's really actively doing stuff to help until the guy starts to really buckle down to the floor and they can no longer hold him. Like his body is just literally extra heavyweight now. So she starts screaming, help, help, like to the top of her lungs. And everybody's like, what the fuck? So, and now everybody's looking over there. These, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 white women, maybe one Hispanic woman runs over and is on the ground with the guy now. Now, the woman, the black woman, has now officially moved away from the situation and she's just sobbing profusely. The girl on the line in front of me is like rubbing her back, trying to calm her down. And I'm like, okay, time for me to be nurturing too, because what? So I go over to her and I literally start rubbing her back and I'm talking to her and I'm like, sis, it's going to be okay. And I'm giving her updates. I'm like, his eyes are opening up now. Like, they're fanning him. They bought him some water. There's a doctor over there. I'm literally fucking doing this, y'all. As soon as I get to Mexico, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm running off of 2 hours of sleep also. I don't know. Was it 2 hours? I feel like I went to sleep. Oh, because I didn't even tell y'all. Oh my God, it's so much. Oh, if only if Only you knew how much shit I went through before we got to the airport. My mom and I were literally running off of 1 hour of sleep because we had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to run our stuff over to storage, because when we got to storage the night before, because our landlord drove us over there to drop off the last bit of our stuff from our house, it was closed. Storage had literally closed at 10 p.m. and we had got to storage at 10:02. 10:02. So I had to wake up early. My mom had to wake up early. My mom had to get stuff done at the house. So I ended up driving over with my landlord and taking stuff to storage at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we literally had to head to the airport at 8. So we are running off of literally 1 hour of sleep. It was crazy. So, okay, back to the airport. I'm consoling this lady. And while she's crying, she's expressing that she had just had a major death in her family. They had both just had a major death in her family. And so that's why she was so heavily panicked. Now, I would have been heavily panicked regardless. But I get that just made it extra scary, because she just couldn't have two back-to-back tragedies. So I'm literally talking to her, like trying to calm her down, giving her step by step. I'm like, sis, look, he's standing up right now. I'm like, he's standing up. He's doing okay. I was like, you need a hug? She's literally like, yes. So I literally give her this long hug. Now, y'all know I'm an empath. So I'm soaking up all of this energy. I have no sage. I have no Palo Santo. My mom had some Copal. I haven't burnt it yet. I probably still have this energy on me. But so I'm so proud of myself, because I used to say that I'm not good at consoling people. I used to make that be a thing, and that is not true at all. Like, I feel like I really stepped up and was very, very compassionate in that moment. But y'all, oh my God, it was so heavy. So, and then of course everybody that's with him is panicked. He finally got up, was sitting in the chair. Then he had to stand up. Because he just started saying that he was overheated. And so I started verbalizing that to her. I'm like, he's just saying that he just got really hot. I'm like, no, it's really hot in here. So they're cooling him off right now. He's drinking water. Okay. So she thanks us. Then we get back online, me and the white lady that's consoling her. The white lady starts tearing up. I'm like, you need a hug, sis? So then I start consoling the white lady in front of me on the line, because she was in Mexico by herself. So I'm sure she had nobody to vent to. My mom had just gone over to the other side of the room and had come over to check on things and stuff like that. But god damn, it was just so much. Remember, my mom is also running off 1 hour of sleep, so I'm pretty sure this all feels like a dream to her. But yeah, we were all very supportive of the woman, and I'm sure that she really, really appreciated that. But at the end of the day, I don't really know what happened to them. I mean, they ended up making it through customs. I saw them outside of the airport. The guy was walking around. And that's the thing. Like, they were trying to roll him around in the chair. And you know, men, like, for whatever reason, they can't just be like, just relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to get up and walk and show that you're okay. Like, please just relax so that you are really okay eventually. So hopefully all is well. Hopefully they had a better vacation. But tell me why this fucking white bitch behind me is going to say, oh, well, if he faints in here, it's not the same one that was in front of me. She was very nice. It was one that was behind me. She's going to say, well, if he's hot in here, then this Mexico is not the place for him to be. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, people, oh my God. Like, and you know what made me so mad is that I don't know what to say in situations like that. And we're going to get to my neurodivergency, but it's not even neurodivergency. It's just human shit. Like, I just don't know what to say. So I turned around and I was like, it's humid. It's humid. It's humid. What? Why would I say that? Okay. So anyways, my mom and I ended up bringing 6 bags with us through customs. Of course, had to get them checked. While we're getting the bags checked, there's a young black woman going off on the security in Mexico. And that's the thing. Like, black people be coming down here, going off on the federales. They be going off on, I mean, everybody, because there was a white woman going off too. But Americans come down here and go off on, like, the police. And I'm like, you would not do that in America. You would not go off on the police like that in America. So why do you feel like you can come down here and go off on people with semi-automatic rifles? Like, I don't quite understand that mindset. So I just know that I never want to be that person. Like, that just puts you in an even more dangerous situation. They don't give a fuck about half the stuff that we're complaining about because it's really American shit. So there was that. And then there was this other lady that was really, like, going off on another group of agents in that, like, bag checking area. If you've been to Mexico, you know that they usually kind of quote unquote randomly select people to come and get their, like, major check bags checked. And I forgot what that's for. It's for a couple of different reasons, but We could talk about that another time. But sometimes it can feel a little bit racially charged until you get in there and you see that they've pulled white people over as well, and then it doesn't feel as heavy. But I think at the time it was not, no, it wasn't. It was a multicultural group of us getting searched in there. Long story short, there was this white lady that was going off because they were trying to charge her $100 to bring in cigarettes, and she had just bought the cigarettes in the duty-free shop. And so she literally was going off for so long. Like, I just saw this other man and he had cigarettes and he only had to pay, no, he had to pay $100. She had to pay $200. And she's like, that costs more than the cigarettes that I have. And like, I was minding everybody's fucking business, y'all. Like, I was literally minding everybody's business. And she was like, I'm staying in a hostel. Like, I can't even afford this. Like, this is taking money from me. You know, this, that, and the third. Like, it was a lot. It was a fucking lot. So I had all of this energy surrounding me while coming to Mexico, right? Now, I told y'all I wanted to talk about my mental health. And when it comes to my mental health and being able to process this stuff, plus running off of 1 hour of sleep, plus not really eating before we came to Mexico, like at all, plus just everything, I was exhausted. My therapist always told me, you know, to try my best not to wait until I'm at the brink of exhaustion, when I'm at the brink of like brittle, feeling just brittle. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Like feeling so fragile, you know, like not nurturing my body with sleep, not meditating, not writing. I haven't really documented any of this writing wise. I can't even find my diary. So I know that definitely took a toll on my mental health. But one thing I didn't realize is that I actually have a pattern when it comes to moving and depression. It's so funny because I feel like people expected me to come down here and just like be recording everything for y'all and, you know, like be ready for visitors. Everybody's like, oh, when you get settled, let me know. Bitch, I'm not going to be settled until like December. Like literally, I have so much fucking American trauma to deal with. Like, I'm not going to be ready for visitors until December. And I'm working on listening to the book Not Nice, which I told you about in a couple of episodes before. And I think that would help me really verbalize that to people. Earliest is August, but really, like, I have a lot of shit to catch up on. I have a lot of shit to do. And although, yes, I have a lot of healing to do that I want to focus on, I just need time for me. I spent so much time in America pouring into everybody. And yes, people pour back into me, but not everybody. And I just need to literally recover and recoup. And then America literally itself sticks a fucking straw in your mentality and in your mind and fucks your shit up. So yeah, I need time to like heal and decompress and de-stress. So back to my mental health. When I moved to Atlanta from New York, I went into a deep depression and was in that depression for I want to say 2 months straight. And I was fighting it so hard. I think I told y'all a little bit of the story about how I moved into this apartment. In my mind, in my reality, I thought that it was a 2-bedroom apartment. I ended up having 6 roommates and it was a 4-bedroom apartment and it was a fucking lot. And I didn't realize that in New York, we are actually all suffering. Yeah, we are. You might say, I'm not suffering. I don't have mental health issues. You are. And you don't know that because there are so many distractions. And I'm not going to put that on you. Maybe you're okay. Maybe you really are grounded. But I'm just... But in New York, there are so many distractions that I literally was able to just distract myself from my depression. I wasn't even actively distracting myself from it. New York was distracting it for me, or was distracting me from it. So that really hit me when I got to Atlanta and was like, oh, wow, like I don't have as many distractions. In the beginning of me moving to Atlanta, I had gone to the Cynthia Bailey modeling casting call. She had like a whole like model, what's it called? Like a model search. I had done something with DC Young Fly and Emmanuel Hudson, and Stevie J. Like I had literally worked for free. I had done some free background work and I had just really had like a long list of things that I wanted to do when I got to Atlanta. So once there was kind of a pause in that, that's when I felt like my depression really started creeping up on me. And then my living environment wasn't okay. My eating habits weren't okay. I told y'all about the time that I literally ate a pizza and like 7 chicken wings. I've told some people about this. If you know about my vegan journey, which I'd love to share at some point, you know like why I went vegan officially. Of course, it's for the animals. But long story short, depression hit. And I remember I was so scared, you know. I remember I had confessed it to my dad, and this is before he really understood. I think I really was a catalyst in helping him learn about mental health and depression and anxiety. And I think that me being so open about it was a learning experience for him, and really changed his life, I feel. And he's expressed to me that I really opened his eyes when it came to certain things regarding mental health. But I remember at first he thought it was just the label. And he's like, Atiya, maybe it's just something that you have to grow through. And I'm like, no, Daddy, no, I'm telling you, like, I'm really depressed. And he didn't ride on that for a long time. He did eventually just see. When he finally started really seeing me, and this was in the beginning of us really being able to see each other, then he really saw, like, oh, no, this is not something that she just has to grow through. Like, she literally is really struggling. And I think sometimes as parents, I think that maybe they blame themselves, or the way that I don't even know, or they just feel extra guilty for whatever reason in regards to our mental health struggles, which, I mean, trauma can contribute to that. But I appreciated that eventually, he was one of the reasons why I was able to really learn about acceptance when it came to my anxiety. I remember one time I had called him because I had a panic attack and I was literally on the floor and I was like, I'm on the floor, like I can't, like I'm having a panic attack. And we were talking about it. And so he said, like, just walk me through what you're feeling. And as I was walking him through it, we just started having this really deep talk about me not trying to fight it. Because that's where I think that the panic came from was, yes, I have this anxiety and I'm trying so hard to fight this feeling that's trying to move through me. And if I can take a pause and feel it, and he used the word accept it. And if I could accept it and feel it, it wouldn't feel as heavy maybe. And literally, as I stopped trying to fight that feeling of anxiousness within me and just let it process and started really breathing, I was able by the end of the phone call to be up on my feet walking around. And that was a very pivotal moment for my life and really, really in my mental health journey. So it was crazy how we went from the beginning of him not really understanding to him being able to really help me through that portion of my anxiety. So I'm forever grateful for that. I remember I had talked to my grandma one time on the phone, and she's actually taught me a big lesson too, and she's the reason why I don't say just anymore, or I practice not saying just. But I remember I told her I was depressed, and she's so sweet. This is when she was, I think, the beginning of her dementia, and she was like, oh, Tia, you just gotta try to be happy. You just gotta try to be happy, baby. And I'm like, I'm fucking trying. So I know that she just didn't want me to be sad, and not just, but she didn't want me to be in pain. And one thing I realized is when you talk to people about, your mental health, it really does bring up shit that they have to go through. Maybe she felt like she just had to try to be happy in her life. Maybe that's something that she was just trying to share with me, but I know she had much good intentions, or many good intentions for that, but I just needed, I just need to hear her voice. And I think that itself was healing. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you call people and you're depressed, sometimes everybody might not have the answers. Sometimes when people vent to me when they're depressed, I know I don't have the answers. Sometimes they just need to get it out. They just need to process it. My mom sent me this post. Let me see if I can find it. And I don't want to misquote it, but it said something regarding that. Oh, here it says, sometimes you just need to talk about something, not to get sympathy or help, but just to kill its power by allowing the truth of things to hit the air. And boy, is that motherfucking true. Oh my God. So yeah, that was definitely eye-opening. And again, I'm just grateful for her for being open enough to hear me. And it's so interesting because the 1-year anniversary of her passing, or of her transitioning, I like to call it, because she just transitioned to a different realm, is going to be on the day that I post this podcast. Wow. Literally on Sunday. Yes, it's going to be on the day that this podcast is posted. And that too, I think, has taken a major toll on my energy. I think that I have some PTSD. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about grief, PTSD. This time last year, this time from January to this time, my grandma had COVID. It was a lot of stuff that was happening at the house. It was just a lot of stuff. I don't even want to walk back through it because I'm going to re-traumatize myself. But it was just a really hard time for me. Now, I'm really grateful because also around this time last year is when I actually started getting really close to my friends Tori and my friend Olivia, and I feel like they really helped walk me through this experience and made me feel really not alone. All of my friends, not all of my friends actually. I don't want to pinpoint every single friend that helped me, but I just know that I remember those conversations the most in these moments. And again, I was going to go on a whole rant about every single person that helped me in this situation. But if you helped me, I thank you. I was in a fucked up place mentally. So sorry if I don't remember or if I didn't shout you out. I know that I had a long list of a support system, but at the time, I did feel very alone. I felt, oh God, so alone. So having them having them be able to relate so much to me, I think was very, 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 very healing for me. And I think that I also didn't vent to a lot of people regarding the situation because I just didn't want to feel like a burden. And that's something else I want to talk about. It's just like depression and feeling like a burden. And we're fucking not. Like, we're not. And I think that the aspect of feeling like a burden adds to the depression. But I say all that to say, and just to be transparent, like, it's so interesting because I'm even still working through now, like, as I'm going through this podcast, I'm like, oh, I should have shouted out this person. I should have shouted out that person. And I have to let myself the fuck off the hook. Like, do you know how many times people have given other people credit for my advice or people have not shouted me out for times of helping them? I'm just happy I helped you. So I have to stop thinking from like an egotistical place, and I'll be patient with myself. But not everybody is in that space of thinking, oh, I want credit for helping you. No, some people just want to help you because they want to help you, and they don't care if you ever remember that they helped you. So I just want to remember that, and I hope to have those kind of people in my life, and I hope to grow to be that kind of person. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that, and I just want to thank y'all for listening to my transparency because I really, 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 it's hard for me to share some things when those things go through my mind because I feel like sometimes people can take advantage of that or judge me for the way that my mind processes things. But I can only be me, and my energy is my protection. So I can't keep trying to protect myself, and I don't want to be a secret keeper because that's definitely a thing. And I just want to be as authentic and honest as possible because this is healing for me, and this can be healing for somebody else. So back to my depression and realizing that moving from New York to Atlanta definitely helped me heal a specific part of my depression because I was distracted for so long. So when I moved to Mexico, I had this thing in my mind that I was going to just have like utter peace. And granted, there is a sense of that because I'm no longer in a hole, and I'm grateful for that. But I did realize a pattern that every time that I would come to Mexico, like to look for apartments or just for my birthday, or I've literally been to Mexico once a year for the last like 5 years. I realized that I would have some kind of mental, I don't want to say breakdown, but yeah, fucking mental breakdown or emotional breakdown. And I remember having those mental breakdowns and thinking, I don't want this to be like this when I move here. I can't be like this mentally when I move here. I need to be healed by the time I get to Mexico. And that's so much to put on somebody. That's so much to put on myself. You know, I can't rush my healing. Does anybody rush their healing? I literally rushed my healing, and that gave me even more anxiety and even more panic. So I've really, really, really been trying to practice that. And I found some posts that I would love to share with you because they've been very healing for me regarding like healing and the timing of that. But I finally, after my body just broke down the other day, 3 days ago. Well, when this podcast is posted, I don't even fucking know, but because it's Friday right now. But I finally broke down and allowed myself to be depressed. I did. I couldn't. I mean, I had no choice. My body was like, bitch, sit down. There's this guy. My body doesn't speak to me like that. Only my ego sometimes speaks to me like that, or like that negative voice in my head. And I wonder if that's a different voice, like my ego and that negative self-talk voice. But there's this guy. His name is Ralph Smart, I think it's Ralph Smart. And he's the guy that's like, infinite waters diving deep. If you're a YouTube girly or guy or whatever the case may be, or non-binary, then you know like that infinite waters diving deep is that guy. So he told me, well, he didn't tell me. Well, he told me. But in his video about depression, one of his videos about depression, he talked about how depression is just a sign that you need deep rest. I told y'all that I had been running off of like 2 hours of sleep. I still wasn't really eating all that well when I got here. We hit the ground running. There were so many things that we had to do, so many American things that we had to finish up that we didn't realize that we're going to be left from our move. I'm telling y'all, this move kicked our ass. I really want to talk about all of the logistics with my mom because there are going to be certain things that I forget or certain things that we just recall differently. And so I'm excited to have her officially to be interviewed on here. So once again, once we officially, not even settle down, but once we can just like relax. I think this weekend we're going to be able to relax a little bit, but we just have so much stuff to do. And you know, we're a Virgo and a Capricorn. We're fucking workhorses. So, but on top of that, it's just like mandatory work that needs to be done. So yeah, we still have businesses that we have to run and shit. Like, it's a lot. That's a whole other logistic besides just getting ourselves together. Like, we have to literally run our businesses from another country now. So that's interesting. But I was depressed. My body broke down. My emotions broke down. I was just no good to be around. Me and my mom were supposed to go to this computer center together. I couldn't even go. It was just a day. It was really bad. It felt really bad. I'm gonna say it was really bad. I've been practicing as of yesterday, not labeling things as bad or wrong. It was what it was supposed to be, but it felt really bad. I was sleeping that whole day. I was venting to my friend Macy. I was very grateful for that. And she literally just created this space because once again, like I feel so guilty sometimes when I'm depressed and vent about it, but she created that space for me. And I had to remember, like, when people ask you if you're okay, you can be honest. You can literally be honest. With this group of friends that I have right now, I can be honest. And I hope they feel the same way about me. I remember I had a friend vent to me one time and they were like, afterwards, oh my God, I'm so sorry if I dumped, was that too heavy? And I'm like, no. First of all, I thank you for even being considerate of that. And second of all, I'm in a space where I can hear that, and I'm in a space where I created room for that. So, please let me be your diary. And I remember at one point I was venting to Macy, and I was like, I'm so sorry, this is so long, I forgot what I said, and she was like, shh, just vent, like, just get it out. She's like, you need to get it out. So she's like, I'm here. So yeah, I really, really appreciated that. I really, really did. Like, it really meant the world to me. So, and because in friendships before, I've always had to act like I was okay, because people didn't have the space for me or didn't create the space for me. And even if I did tell them I wasn't okay, they would say, yes, you are. How fucking invalidating is that? So I think that between the exhaustion, the lack of nutrients, the lack of vitamins, the utter change of environment, the major adjustments that had to be made, the expectations that I had, and then the PTSD from my grandma passing last year around this time, and this being a really hard time for me. I was in New Orleans around this time last year. And even that trip, I never told y'all about that New Orleans trip, but I definitely have to tell y'all about that as well. I'll put it in my outline for the next episode. But yeah, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. And I wasn't giving myself time, so my body made me make time. But I learned that when I move to a new space, I have to shed the skin of my old space. I'm actually going to get a tattoo soon. It's going to be of a snake on my arm. I'm really excited about it. And one of the reasons is because we saw a snake when we were on our resort the last time we were here. And we saw so many animals the last time that we were here. Whoa. Sorry, my chips fell. We saw so many animals the last time that we were here. And I feel like every single animal is like a totem or a spirit guide. And it's the universe trying to tell us something, because we didn't have to see that snake. We didn't have to see that possum. We didn't have to see that iguana. We didn't have to see that, what else did we see? We saw something else, a Kudumundi, so many things. So yeah, I took that as a sign of like growth. And when I looked up what snakes represented, I can find it eventually after I get the tattoo, I'll share it. But yeah, they represent everything that this chapter is for me, like a rebirth, And so I feel like I have to shed my skin, and I have to give myself time to shed my skin. I have had so many traumatic things happen to me in America, and not only happen to me, but happen around me. And anytime I look at the news and I see all of the constant things that are happening every single day, I'm like, how in the world can anybody ever ask me to be safe in Mexico, or how I'm going to be safe in Mexico, when in America, how are you being safe? Like, literally, how are you comparing your safety in America to my safety in Mexico, when America is fucked up? So yeah, I went on a rant about that. I won't go on it this episode, but I might go on it in the next. So yeah, I just had to let myself be. And I was really proud of myself for that. And then the next day, I felt like I had written a letter. I felt like I had really shaken a lot of things off, but there was still this energy surrounding it. And I was like, I asked my mom, how can I just stop being sad? Like, how can I stop being sad? And she was like, I think you really have to let yourself feel it. You have to she didn't say just, but allow yourself to process it and not put a judgment surrounding it. So I let myself be sad. And as soon as I succumbed to the sadness, I felt better. It was crazy. I fought against it, tried to sleep it away. I don't have marijuana, so I couldn't smoke it away. I literally had to feel it. And that was really, really deep. So now I'm in a much better place. I feel like I am just trying to be more gentle with myself and trying to take it easy. We're going to do something really beautiful for my grandma, to just honor her. And, I'm going to be very gentle with myself. 2022 is a year, and it takes more than, 4 months to heal from a year. There's still a lot of lingering energy, and that's okay. my life is what it's supposed to be and my feelings are what it's supposed to be. So yeah, I definitely feel like I judged that though. And I thought that I had to come to Mexico and be like, I'm good. Look at me in paradise. And yes, look at me in paradise. But I'd rather be depressed in paradise than be depressed in fucking America. It feels two totally different things. Truly and honestly, I'll tell you that much. They also have so many healing ceremonies here, like Copal healing ceremonies. And what's the other one? Did I say, I don't even know what I just said, but Palo Santo, and I'm trying to think of other healing. They have so many other different types of hape healing ceremonies here. So I'm really excited to get into that. And just, I feel like I was so connected with my ancestors, and the more, I become so connected, not was. The more I can connect with them, the better I'll feel just within this time of my life and my healing and all of that. And just knowing that they have my back. All of this is what it's supposed to be. Also, I've been doing a lot of inner child work, and that's been very, very helpful for me as well. I love little me. Oh my God, she's the best. She's the best, and she's still alive and kicking, and she's so proud of me, and I'm so proud of her. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. Now, on a different note, now that I've moved here, well, speaking of healing, it's actually the same note, but now that I moved here, I've been able to process a couple of things, or begin to process a couple of things. Well, really, they've been processing me, because I haven't actively welcomed these into my psyche, I don't think, but maybe subconsciously I have. But I took, I guess, a little bit of a pause on processing my relationship. And as I think many of you know, I've expressed before that I was in an abusive relationship in all aspects. And I've really been trying to slowly heal those parts of me. Even now, like my vision of what a relationship is or what it should be, I don't have a healthy idea of that. Because I just don't know of one that I can really like look up to in a way of like, oh, this is what a full-blown healthy love is. So I think that, and it's not to say that like the people I know, I don't even know. I'm not even going to say no. I just don't know. There are no relationships that I've seen where I'm like, oh, this is 100% what I would want. There are aspects of relationships that I love, but I also know the ins and outs of what people go through. Not even like what they go through per se, but what I went through. Because yes, my relationship to the blind eye looked fucking amazing. What? In front of everybody else, he was like, oh, I'm so beautiful. He loves my natural hair. Oh, my ass is fat when I don't have jeans on. This, that, and the third. To my face, I was a fugly fucking Furby bitch who who could like literally perish and he wouldn't care. So yeah, I know that what you see in relationships is not always what's actually happening behind closed doors. So I stopped idolizing and looking up to relationships, because we're all going through shit. We're all human. And we're all humans that are healing. And a majority of us are humans in America. Fucking leaves. Right now I have like just anti-relationship energy and just like relationship trauma in general, because I just don't know what to look forward to. But I've been seeing him in my dreams lately, and that has definitely been kind of like a once again PTSD kind of thing. I told you I have CPTSD in a couple of other episodes, and that's when you've been through repetitive trauma back to back or for like a longer stint of time. That's like the best way I can explain it. And it's interesting because I know that I said I had PTSD from this time around last year when my grandma was transitioning and growing through what she was growing through. But it actually was CPTSD, like I said, because it happened over a period of time. So back in the day when I had first broken up with my ex, I literally want to say that I had a dream about him every night. And I would wake up in cold sweats. And in about every dream, he would either be like physically hurting me or cheating on me. And I vividly, to this day, remember this one dream where he was like pinching me in my dream. And I woke up like in a panic. It was crazy. Like it was an overwhelming amount of pinches. But yeah, so that's what I was growing through. And so it's happening again now. But I think that it's literally just my psyche like, okay, beautiful, it's time for you to start working through this again. I told you that I had unfollowed his mom on my ethereal page, which is really big. That's my business page. She was following that. That was very big for me because I didn't have, I don't know. It just was very big for me. I'll just leave it at that. And so recently I unfollowed his best friend. And that was really big because at one point, once upon a time, I considered his best friend to be my best friend. And this is before my ex and I even dated. I was actually closer to this friend than I was to my ex. I spent more time with this friend than I did with my ex. And so a lot unfolded within our friendship. And when I rekindled with my ex, before we were in a relationship officially. Because at one point I was a side chick. I literally was a side chick. The way that me and my ex met was so, this needs to be a whole episode. So we're going to just dive into this and maybe the next episode, I'll also talk about that. I'll talk about my New Orleans trip and how I met my ex. But I unfollowed his best friend, who at one point in my mind was my best friend. And that was very, 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 very big for me. So I feel like that's like, once again, another step in me taking a step back. And even now, as I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, like, what if somebody tells him that I unfollowed him and then he unfollows me? Okay, good. Like, he literally knew that his friend was putting hands on me. He was at the house when I was limping around the day that I broke up with him. Like, while his friend was laughing at me limping. So, after being slammed on the ground, like, after I was slammed on the ground. So, it's just like, I can no longer prescribe the word friend to these people that did not protect me. And I cannot live in the past or not even protect me in like, I don't even know. I guess I had expectations that he loved me just as much as he loved his friend. And he didn't hold his friend accountable. And I feel like that was one way that you could have protected me. And then it's just a lot. So, and maybe it wasn't his responsibility, but in my mind, as a man, as a person in general, and I've learned this even from the person that sexually assaulted me, when somebody shows you their character of how they treat somebody else, if you can be around that person and still remain their friend, eventually that person's going to treat you like shit. That person's going to be abusive towards you. So if you know that your friend has abusive tendencies, what does that say about you? And what does that say about you keeping them around? You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking get help. Everybody get help. Everybody, including me. And I got help. But they didn't. So I don't know what the fuck they ended up doing. So yeah, but unfollowing him was very, very, very big for me. And it was really cathartic. I passed by his page so many times. He never likes my shit. He texted me like last year randomly and sent me like 5 letters and a number. And I just figured maybe it was like a butt text or whatever. But I never texted back and was like, what? Like, okay. And he never acknowledged it, so I just left it alone. I know he saw my name in his text. And then I also don't know if I ever told y'all about the time that I was literally at a barbecue with somebody who was my friend, but apparently was also his cousin. So my ex's best friend's cousin. My ex's best friend came to this party. My ex came to this party. This is last year, y'all. Last year, May. Last year, right? Yeah, last year, May. Neither of them spoke to me. No, like, none of us spoke to each other. But that is a story. Oh my fucking God, it's so much. Maybe I should just share those stories in this podcast. I feel like I should just share those stories in this podcast and call it a day, but I really want to get to the other stories that I want to share. Okay, I'm going to share the other stories, and then we're going to talk about this in the next episode. Give y'all a little teaser to come back for the next one. My point is that the friendship that I thought that I had in my head, and I used to do this a lot when I was younger, was not as prominent apparently as I thought it was. And I think that maybe at one point it was, and then we truly, truly did grow apart from each other. And I just didn't keep up with the time, so I thought that we still had that same rapport. So that was definitely very eye-opening, and I feel like unfollowing him was a major step for me in healing, because I felt like that was one more tie that my ex had still into my life. I felt like if he could still see my page, like my old friend could still see my page, then my ex still had access to what was going on in my life, you know? And I think once upon a time, I wanted that. I wanted my ex to see that I was doing well. I remember when we first broke up, he hit me up for my birthday, I think, and was like, happy birthday, superstar. I know you're going to make it, baby girl, or something like that. And it didn't hit the way it was supposed to hit, but I think that there was like one little love-starved part of me that was like, oh, he remembered me. Yeah, bitch. Because, not bitch, I'm sorry, God, I have to stop talking to myself like that. But yeah, girl, because the last 3 fucking birthdays that you spent with him, he hated you and treated you like shit. I remember one birthday, I literally went to go pick him up from this girl's house, and it's this girl that he claimed was his friend, and it was a lot. But I went to go pick him up from this girl's house, and he didn't wish me happy birthday, and it was literally my birthday. And I was patiently waiting for him to wish me happy birthday, and he had attitude. So I'm just saying, yeah, of course, after we're broken up, he cares about that one birthday. Oh God, y'all. So much. Anyways, we're gonna switch tunes, but I just wanted to say shout out to me for deleting his best friend. That was a step. I'm really proud of myself. Now, can we talk about how pads are killing people with vulvas? No, let's talk about it. So this is a new segment called What? Pads? All right, so no. This is gonna be called very vulvatic. No, all right, fuck it. We're talking about fucking pads. Before I start reading off all the statistics and stuff, I just want to share what I remember from this one seminar I went to. I had gone to like this natural pad seminar one time, and I remember that they taught us about how basically I used to use Always, right? And I have no problem saying like the name brand because I'm never gonna fucking use them again. If you use Always, you know that there's this like blue shit in the pad. Have you ever wondered like what the fuck is this blue shit in the pad? No, you probably haven't, because I didn't until we went to that seminar. And basically there are chemicals in the pads that are created to produce more cramping. They have ties with the P company. I don't even feel like I can say it without getting fucking like, I don't even know, put on a list. So just put two and two together. They have, I'm not even gonna be scared, the fucking pharmaceutical company. They have ties with the pharmaceutical company. And so if you have more cramps, then what do? You go to buy pain medicine, right? You buy pain medicine, that's putting more money into the pharmaceutical industry. So they literally have ties. They don't give a fuck about your period. First of all, the fact that women still, I remember, the fact that women still have to pay for pads because we involuntarily bleed every month, it's fucking nuts. And when I say women, I also would like to include people with vulvas and people who don't identify as women, but people with vulvas, non-binary folk as well. People who bleed through their vulvas. Like, the fact that we still have to pay for pads is fucking crazy, because if men bled from their penises, they would have free penis caps. Free fucking penis caps at every gas station and in every bathroom. And don't even get me started on the fucking cardboard tampons in the bathroom. Cardboard. Anyways, so that made me immediately stop using Always pads, because they were right. My periods used to last 11 days. 11 fucking days, and I would get them twice a month. So basically I'm bleeding all month. I probably had like 7 days off, which is terrifying. And I wonder like why I'm fucking anemic and shit. That's why you lost half your blood in the early beginning of your life. Then we have tampons and toxic shock syndrome, which is just like, wow. And the concept of tampons is unhealthy because your uterine lining is literally supposed to shed. When you put a tampon in your vulva or in your vagina entrance, your vagina literally is being stopped up, and you're keeping all of this caustic waste of blood that's supposed to be cleansed out of your body in your vulva. So that's unhealthy. That to me is the cause of a lot of these internal reproductive issues that we as women have. The cysts, the fibroids, the everything. I truly feel as though not allowing our blood to flow is not helping, and no one gives a fuck, because no one gives a fuck about women. So, and you know, of course there are other factors. There's stress, there are other medicines, there are what we eat, what's in our foods. It's a lot that's out there really trying to get us, y'all. But I know for a fact that tampons, the concept of it are just not healthy to have that shit stopped up in your body. It's so interesting though, because I don't feel the same way about Diva cups. I've never tried one before and I really want to try one. But anywho, I want to read some statistics on what is actually happening with pads. And I want to help you learn how to pick the best pad choice, or the best blood catching choice, the best uterine lining choice, the best uterine lining choice catcher choice, whatever. Oh, and then like I also want to talk about the fact that when I was on birth control, I bled profusely for the whole week that I was bled out. It was ridiculously heavy. And then I know that sometimes when people are on birth control, they don't bleed at all. And I understand that, you know, your period is, but is what helps you get pregnant, which is why it usually stops when you're on birth control. But, the concept of stopping your period can't be healthy either. Like, and they don't care. Like, when I say the pharmaceutical and people, the doctors, everybody, they just don't, like, it's just all about the money. I can't. And this is not to stop you. If birth control is working for you, please, like, do what you know is best for your body. Birth control literally killed me, like, almost killed me. Like, I was bleeding profusely, and I literally wanted to unalive myself daily. I had to get off that shit. Nobody talks about that. It boosted my depression to an all-time high. Again, nobody speaks about that shit. It is a literal hormonal change. So, and there are other ways of being on birth control without being on hormonal birth control. But again, people don't care. Even with autism, they just started studying autism in women because people don't care about women. The medical industry does not care about women. So they put these things out, birth control, pads, tampons, whatever. Just like whatever, they'll deal with it. Women will deal with it, and then they wonder why we're fucking raging bitches sometimes because we're dying. We have shit in us that are killing us. You're literally trying to kill us. Okay, so let me read these statistics. Okay, so this article is called 5 Ways Sanitary Pads Are Killing You. And I'm gonna put it in the description of this as well so you can physically see it. But this is from the Period Co. It says, do you know what disposable sanitary pads are made of? Most likely, you've never thought about it. Menstruation is not a topic that is often discussed, but it is an important topic for every menstruating person out there. If you use pads, did you ever realize that the word men is in menstruating? You know why? Because men are the devil. That's it. If you use pads, you're having them pressed up against your body, specifically the skin around your vaginal area, for around 5 days each month. The skin around this area is highly permeable. Let me go back. There are certain men in my life that are not the devil. Like, I have, little kids that I know. Like, young men. There are young men that I have hope for them. But the predatory assholes out there, those are the ones that are the devil. And periods make us feel like we're dying, right? So do men. Okay. Anyways, back to this article. Oh, come on. No, an ad came. Oh, my God, y'all, an ad came up. All right. If you use pads, you're having them pressed up against your body, specifically the skin around your vaginal area, for around 5 days every month. The skin around this area is highly permeable. Items that come in constant contact with your skin are absorbed into your bloodstream and distributed throughout your body. Disposable sanitary pads often contain stuff that you don't want near your vagina. They cause undesirable side effects and are detrimental to your health. Many report heavier periods, me, and worsened period cramps, me, over time. They may even lead to illnesses like cancer. Okay, so here's one of the things that is in pads. It's called dioxin. Sanitary pads are not naturally pure white. The fibers in pads are chlorine bleached to give them their clean and sterile appearance. This bleaching process creates dioxin, a highly toxic pollutant. You may think that the levels of dioxin in sanitary pads are quite low and do not pose any danger. However, dioxin accumulates in the fat stores of the body over time and can be there for up to 20 years. Exposure to dioxin can lead to pelvic inflammatory disease, hormonal dysfunction, endometriosis, and other forms of cancer. So I'm going to take a pause on this for a second. What the fuck? And then when I think about it, I'm like, I've never seen a brown pad. I've only seen white pads. I've literally only seen white pads. How did we not see this? How did I not see this? Oh my God, yo, that is sick. Fucking sick. Okay, next. Rayon. Apart from cotton, rayon, synthetic fiber derived from wood pulp, is also used in your sanitary pads. Rayon is cheaper than cotton and helps to enhance the absorption capacity of pads, but also contains dioxin from the bleaching process. Okay, I pause on that. I don't know if you peep, but there are certain pads that have ingredients. I don't know if you've ever peeped that. Go to your cabinet and look at your pads and see if they have ingredients. Because that shit is sus to me. There was some brand, I think it was Always, and they had 5 fucking ingredients. Why do you have 5 ingredients in some shit that's just supposed to catch my blood? Crazy. All right, next up is pesticides. Conventionally grown cotton is heavily sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, and these chemicals can stay on the cotton long after it has been harvested. Oh, wow, that's deep. Side effects of exposure include infertility, hormonal disruption, thyroid malfunction, oh my God, diabetes, endometriosis, and fucking depression. Wow. Oh my God. Next up is plastics. Sanitary pads often advertise themselves as leak-proof with an impermeable plastic layer at the bottom of the pads, which do not allow liquid or air to pass through. The plastic traps moisture and heat, creating an environment that promotes the growth of yeast and bacteria. It can also cause sensitive individuals to experience burning, definitely, chafing, and soreness. Oh, God. Fragrances. This is the last one. Sanitary pads have odor naturalizers, and other artificial fragrances contain a combination of unknown chemicals, which can enter the bloodstream and cause side effects. On the surface, they irritate the skin, causing allergies and reactions. Oh, God. So at the bottom, they do have some recommendations that I'll read. It says, the person who wrote this said, growing up in Singapore, pads are usually not the first menstrual product recommended to us during sex ed class or through our mothers, but it's not too late to try an alternative. Oh my God, there's a black girl that makes these reusable pads on TikTok. I gotta find her. Reusable cloth pads do not contain harmful chemicals, as they don't require bleaching or fragrances. They are usually made of cotton and not synthetics. If you're squeamish about blood, here's a way to wash the pads without having to deal with the blood. And they have like a link to that. Or you can start with small changes like using cloth panty liners instead of disposable liners on a day-to-day basis. Wow. I used to use panty liners when I had discharge. That was crazy. And like that was every day. Like I'd wear panty liners every fucking day. And I wondered why I had yeast infection and BV. Menstrual cup, but I was like sneaking and doing this. Like I don't think my mom knew I was doing this. Menstrual cups are also great. A great alternative to disposable pads. If you've never used tampons before, don't worry, you can still switch to cups. The learning curve might be slightly steeper, but the benefits it brings are worth it. Other than being better for your health, they also are more comfortable and convenient. And they say here are 13 reasons why you should use a menstrual cup. Okay, we're going to read that in the next episode. So yeah, and then they also sell reusable cloth pads and menstrual cups on their website as well. This is not a paid ad or anything from them because I can't vouch for them because I haven't tried them. But yeah, wow. The more you know. That was very fucking eye-opening, and I want to know your opinion. So please send an email to theloveatiyaexperience@gmail.com and let me know what the fuck you think, because y'all, oh my God, that's really deep. Also, if you have not signed up for my free Pleasure Positive email blast, the one for April has gone out officially this month. I'm so proud of myself because it was on time. And that one is all about this masturbation tip that I'm going to share at the end that I'm really excited about. But I mentioned it in the email as well. And I just want to talk more in depth about it because, oh my fucking God, yo, that shit is life-changing. Wow. This masturbation tip is very simple, but it's going to change your fucking life. Speaking of masturbation, if you are looking for a sex toy shop, a black-owned sex toy shop, and you're just looking for some new toys, I highly fucking recommend shopsadora.com. Now, let me tell you, I got the Lilo Duo 2 from Sadora. When I tell you that Lilo can do me no wrong, these Lilo toys, even the way that it turns off, like when I turn it off, it doesn't just shut off. It literally like winds down. Like the motor winds itself down. It's crazy. It's so well thought through. But these fucking Lilo toys got me in a headlock, and Sadora has an array of them. And you can get 15% off for on your purchase if you use the code LOVEATIYA. So 15% off using code LOVEATIYA. But y'all, this Tiani Duo, the way that it's made, it's a G-spot vibrator, and you can use it as a couple. So there's a part that can go inside of you, and then there's a part that can kind of caress the outside of your clit. But there's a way that your partner can also insert themselves. Your partner can also insert themselves in your vagina while the toy is in there vibrating, and then you can both feel satisfaction from the fucking toy. It's nuts. You can also use it on your body in other ways. You can use it on like the other sensitive parts of your body because there's like it makes kind of a U shape. So you can use it on the back of your neck, which is really fucking sensitive. Use it on your nipples. Use it on any erogenous zones in your body. Like literally I just touched the back of my neck and I was like, wow, this shit is so sensitive. Oh my God, the next time somebody kisses me, I want them to kiss me on the back of my neck. Fuck the side. The side is cool. I love the side of my neck. Thank you, side of my neck. But the back just gave me some goosebumps. So yeah, definitely recommend the Lilo Tiani Duo 2. I'll post a YouTube review when I get my camera. My camera is not with me right now, or maybe I'll do it on my phone. I don't know. But long story short, just know that I love it. I love any toy where you can literally move it to like, because I use the G-spot part, the part that goes in you. I use that on my clit. I literally used it on my outer clit, which I love. I love versatile toys. And I love toys where you can pinpoint certain spots. And the very first vibrational pattern is it. You know, sometimes you have to hike it up to 2 or 3. No. The first one gives what it needs to fucking give. And I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, use the code LOVEATIYA to get 15% off of your order with Shop Sador. Also, for those of you who know, I am the owner of a hair and skincare company. It's called Ethereal by iloveatiya, and it is a vegan and cruelty-free hair and skincare company. But y'all, I'm so excited because I have officially created a line in honor of my grandma, which I'm so excited to premiere on today. So it's called the Norma Collection, and my grandma actually owned her own beauty salon back in the day, and it was called the Best Little Hair House. And yeah, she literally was a beauty salon owner, which is like so amazing to me. And she taught me everything I know in regards to hair health, hair care, skin care. She had the best and softest skin on earth. And so I created a line of products. Right now it's 3. One of them is sold out. My peppermint scrub is sold out, but I have a coffee sugar scrub. It's called the Ethereal Radiant Coffee Sugar Scrub. It has aloe and vitamin E and everything that is just so good for your skin. And then I have a new coffee hair serum, which is amazing. It has tamanu oil and coffee oil and Jamaican black castor oil. Oh my God, when I tell y'all my edges are flourishing. I already have a hair growth oil, which already had my edges flourishing. But I like to create new things, and this one is more so a serum, so it doesn't need to be used every single day. It can be more used like a treatment. It smells fucking delicious. It's in an 8-ounce bottle, so it's a bit bigger than my original hair growth oil, and they both have about, I want to say, 7 to 8 ingredients each. I don't like to have an excessive amount of ingredients because then I'm like every other fucking brand out there, and I'm not like that. I like to be very intentional about my products. So yes, feel free to check that out on iloveatiya.com. And also sign up for my email blast because I send out love notes, I want to say 4 times a month. I don't spam you with a whole bunch of information, but I do tell y'all about the free shit that I'm giving away, and I have some major sales and specials, and I do stuff for my VIPs, but you're not going to know about it unless you are signed up on my email blast, all right? So you get a little extra sneak peek. So yeah, head to iloveatiya.com. You can sign up for the Pleasure Positive email list, and then you can sign up for the email blast with my love notes for Ethereal by iloveatiya. And then I also give you like self-care tips and self-love tips and hair care and skincare tips and all that good stuff. So that's a free sign up. And again, I won't spam you, I promise. Now, I was originally going to share the story about how my friend, quote unquote, tried to like infiltrate in my relationship and like not even fuck with my man, but just I don't even know how to describe what the fuck that was. But I'm going to share that for the next episode because the next episode is going to be fucking juicy as fuck. And this episode has already been juicy, but I just have so many other things I want to say that I'm like, we'll talk about that another time. But I do want to talk about another friend that tried to take my man, who is not my man. So this is story time with the TT. That's the name of this chapter. Story time. And the living is easy. No. Story time. Being told by a TT. Oh my God. The other day I recorded myself singing. I'm gonna post it one day because the end of it, y'all, I can't even lie. The end of it was giving, oh, bitch, okay. But the beginning of it was giving, oh, no. Whoa. So anyways, this is the story about, okay, so when I was younger, I went to, how much details do I want to give about this shit? All right, so I went to this camp when I was younger, right? It was a 3-week sleepaway camp called Camp Mariah. And that was basically, I told y'all I was homeschooled. I think y'all know this. If you don't know this, then I'm not doing a good job at like telling y'all about myself. But I was homeschooled. And I thought everybody was my fucking friend, right? Because everybody shoved this fucking concept down my throat and down my parents' throat. Like, what about socialization? What about socialization? Bitch, what about your socialization? They be acting like in public school, you just talk to your friends all day. You just socialize all fucking day. No, a lot of my public school friends told me you literally go meet up with your friends in the cafeteria, maybe in the hallway, but 9 times out of 10, you have to head to class. So you're not thinking about fucking socializing with these bitches. So there was that. But long story short, I ended up making some friendships that I realized either weren't really real friendships, right? Or they just had so much going on in their life that they weren't quite able to facilitate healthy friendships. I, too, was not in a healthy space. Around this time, I want to say my parents were separated, getting a divorce, but I know that if this was around when I was like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, those years are fucking traumatic. So none of us were in a good space of mind, right? But these were around the years that I was fiending to have a boyfriend. And I just had such a lack of swag. Like, when it came to being smooth around guys, I will never forget the time that at this camp, I want to say it was the second year, and they had but like, it was a co-ed camp, which is... Whew, really wish I would have taken advantage of that. I could have been such a hoe. But I wasn't supposed to be, apparently. But they had brought in like a whole new group of guys, right? So basically, you're supposed to do 3 years at this camp. And it's a 3-week sleepaway camp for 3 years straight. This is the same camp that I told you I had a crush. I wrote him a whole letter, and then he literally ripped up my letter in front of me on the bus. Yeah, him. So him, along with a whole other group of guys, were brought into this camp for the second year, because the first year a lot of people just didn't show back up. A lot of the guys didn't show back up, and they wanted to be a good ratio, I guess. So they brought in these new guys. They were I want to say they were cute, but they were dusty, but they were cute at the time. And I remember there's this one guy, I don't even want to say his name, but his name is so basic I could. But there's this one guy, I wonder what he's doing with his life, because he literally was like a figment of my imagination. He was there and then he was gone. But I remember we were at this social at the last night of like camp. We have these socials, and you get dressed up real cute and you dance, and you know, they have slow dances. And that was the thing, like at the end, oh my God, like who are you going to slow dance with? And there was always such panic, and I hated when the wrong person would want to slow dance with me, because there was only like 1 or 2 slow dances. Like, no, I don't want to slow dance. I want to slow dance with my crush. But I feel like I might have slow danced with him. And that was like really big. Oh my God, this is such nostalgia. Oh, although this time of my life was so traumatic. Like, I have so many memories and so many stories from this shit. Oh my God. Okay. So I think I danced with my crush. I got to find my diaries. I have to find them. And I remember I had asked my friend to take God. She wasn't my friend, but I had asked this girl that I thought was my fucking best friend to take a picture of me, right? I had a disposable camera. I wanted her to take a picture of us. And in the picture, we're hugging each other, and I feel him kiss my cheek, right? But I had never had my first kiss. So I didn't know if that's what he had done. And I gaslit myself to believe that he didn't kiss me on the cheek, right? So I think I said like, let's take another picture, cause you know, like, let's just take another one, because I didn't know if he had really kissed me. And then we took it again, and he kissed me on my cheek again. And I remember thinking, like, did he just kiss me on my cheek twice? Oh my God, I cannot wait to talk about neurodivergency. Oh Lord, y'all, I literally have diagnosed myself with autism, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, it's helped me feel so whole. I'm definitely on the spectrum. I don't know. I thought I was on one part of the spectrum, but I think I'm on another part of the spectrum, and it's a lot to unpack. But stories like this really, like, yes, I was young. Yes, I was learning, but it's just so many things where I'm like, wow, like, oh, so many things just make so much sense to me. It's so sad that the studies of autism in women have taken so long to fucking be a thing, because I think that it's helped a lot of us feel like we've come home and we've learned a lot about ourselves through learning about autism. Random, but if you have Netflix, watch Love on the Spectrum. My mom put me on one of the best shows on Netflix. The UK version is amazing, and then you can watch the US version after that, because that's how I watched it. But with that being said, I didn't know if he had kissed me, and then my fucking friend, I don't think the bitch ever fucking took those pictures. I don't think she ever took the pictures, because I feel like I got them developed and I never saw them fucking shits in there. I was fucking pissed off. She probably had a crush on me, now that I think about it. Now that I think about it, she probably literally had a crush on me. Oh my fucking God. Anyways, ended up leaving camp, right? But connecting with this guy outside of camp, another guy. We're going to call him Island Boy. Island Boy is what his name will be. Me and Island Boy had a friendship, but I think we also had a crush on each other. He was very flirtatious, as most men from the islands are. But I was a virgin at the time. Like I said, I hadn't even had my first kiss yet. I didn't have my first kiss till I was 17, and that's a story to tell as well. I have so many stories in my life. I love this. I love this life. But I had not had my first kiss yet. I was very much so a virgin. He was very much so sexually active. So I think that I let my crush just be a crush, and I friend zoned him and called him like my best friend. And then he had another friend that I was friends with who was also my best friend, who I actually ended up getting really close with. He ended up moving to Queens, and we were just really cool. And that was like the first guy's house that I can remember, besides my other 2 guy friends that I would like just hang out at his house. The other 2 guys friends felt safe because I had grown up with them, but this was like the first guy that I met as, I guess, a young adult, and would like hang out at his house. We wouldn't do anything. We were literally just platonically friends, and I really appreciated that friendship because it was rare to have friends back in the day that didn't want to fuck or didn't want to take my virginity. So I was grateful for that. But anyways, I had a sleepover one night, right? And I had a sleepover with another woman who I considered to be a friend. And so I remember my mom had gone and picked her up. We met her mom. It was cool. Came back to my house. And I want to say that there was another friend there. Why do I want to say that my childhood friend was there? And I wonder if she remembers this. But I remember we were going through pictures of people and like on my MySpace, I guess. And for whatever reason, yeah, this is back in MySpace days or Facebook, but I think it was MySpace. No, maybe it was Facebook. I don't know. I was around maybe like 14 at that time. So it was probably Facebook by then. But I remember going through and showing them like guys that I had in my life because I was just so excited to have men in my life. I like cute guys. I don't know why. And I think we were doing prank calls. So we prank called one of my friends, whatever. I don't remember what happened with that. Oh my God. Yes, I do. I remember we prank called my friend because I just reconnected with him on Instagram. And me and this friend had actually gone to kindergarten together. And I will never forget, we were on the phone. We prank called him, I think. And then I ended up calling him back. And I maybe even peeped that it was me or something. Maybe we didn't do like star 67 or star 69, whatever. Because I remember that was the thing. So like we couldn't remember if it was star 69 or star 67. You could just Google that shit. But anyways, we prank called him. And then somehow he ended up like knowing it was me or whatever. So we called him back. But I remember he was like, yeah, like, we used to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, you were my first girlfriend. And I was like, no, it was not. No, it was not. Because the concept of that was so scary to me. Like, no. I had such sentimental value towards, like, who my first boyfriend was going to be. And boy, was that a fucking bust. But who my first kiss was going to be. Boy, was that a fucking bust. Who I was going to lose my virginity to. All that shit. So I had put this like major importance over things like that. So I was like, how dare you consider me to be your girlfriend when we were fucking 5, when that's not true. But when I think about it, we honestly were always together all the time. We probably were boyfriend and girlfriend. I just didn't even know it. But yeah, shout out to him. It's mad funny because then he was in my DM and he just kept saying, what do you keep saying? He was saying something like incredible or something like that. He just kept saying the same thing over and over again. I was like, okay. Because I guess he's not used to seeing me in this light of like sex positivity and shit. And because at one point I posted a video on my close friends of like my lingerie on the floor. It was on my regular story actually. And he commented and was like, I love lingerie. Okay, me too, brother. Me too, buddy. What you gonna, like, yeah, but so yeah, that was really funny to me though. He's cool people. He's always going to be him. He's always going to be little him in my mind. But it's just interesting to watch people grow up. Like, I'm really proud of my friends from kindergarten because I feel like we're doing pretty good. But with that being said, we then called my crush. And I told you that my friend, not my childhood friend, my other friend. So I had a girlfriend who was from my childhood. And then I had the other new friend from camp. So we ended up talking to this guy. My new friend from camp knew what this guy looked like. I guess we prank called him and then once again ended up calling him again afterwards and talking to him. But that's it. Like that's all I knew of it to be. Like that's it. Like I in my mind, I thought that I had really shown that I had liked this guy. I'm trying to remember if I expressed that I had a crush on him. I feel like I did, but, I can't remember, so I don't want to lie, but I really do feel like I did. I remember it being like, I have this fine-ass friend, like, he's so sexy, this, that, and the third, and, yeah, like, being really proud to, like, show him off, but I also know that he was, like, my quote-unquote best friend, so maybe that's where signals got crossed, but, y'all, I'm giving her the entire benefit of this whole motherfucking doubt, because, come on now. So fast forward, right? That's done. That situation is done. The sleepover is done. We had a great time. Okay. I was in this program with the camp. And I told y'all it was Camp Mariah. So with Mariah Carey. So she had a lot of like stuff for careers and stuff like that. Fast forward, I remember they had a building in Manhattan and we would go there and go to certain places. Like we got to go to Marc Jacobs design studio and we got to go to the Google office, like where they have like scooters and bouncing balls and free snacks and shit. I got to go to a law firm and I had got like a book with my full name on it. It was so dope. Like honestly, this camp was a very, very, very amazing camp. Although I experienced a lot of trauma in it, the concept of the camp was a very amazing concept and the aftermath of it was very cool. Like, yeah, I wonder what's happening with that. But anyways, I ended up going to Manhattan. This friend also went to Manhattan, and we were in this program together, like the career program or whatever. We got to visit these places, right? But there would always be like idle time before we would go to these places. And also they had tutoring, which is really cool. So I got to go to tutoring. What's crazy is that I don't think that I went to tutoring for math. I actually think I went to I know what it was. My friends were going to tutoring. So I just wanted to be around my friends. So I ended up going there to read, but I didn't need a tutor to read. I read very fucking well. Like if there was anything in life that I did well, it was read. So I didn't need tutoring and reading, but I guess I went. I need to talk to my mom about this. And I remember the girl. Oh my God, I remember her name and everything. I wonder if she was gay too. I really do think she was. Wow. I wonder where she's at. I'm going to look her up. Okay, anyways. So tell me why the guy, right, Island Boy, ends up being like, oh, like no. I don't even think he told me. I feel like my friend from camp was like, oh, Island Boy is coming and he's gonna be downstairs in a second, right? So I'm like, oh shit, like y'all kept in touch? Wow. Okay, that's cool. Like we're all friends. We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Like, okay, let's do this. You know, like, and I still have a crush on him. I'm still cool with him. But wait. Because why am I feeling like now? Wait, no, why? It's all coming back. Oh my God, it's all coming back to me now. Shout out to Celine Dion. It's all coming back to me now. I think that I told him to come to Manhattan because I wanted to see him. I swear to everything I love. Now, maybe they both had correspondence with each other. And maybe he told her, yes, because I remember it being such a fucking blindside. All right, y'all, we're going to rewind this. Act like I never said that shit about her knowing that he was coming. I told him to come to the city and meet up with me outside of this place. And then I told her that he was going to be there. We get downstairs to meet up with him. I give him a hug. I'm all excited. His other friend was there, my other best friend. So I was excited to see him. I'm talking to his other friend, my other best friend, the other guy friend whose house I used to go over. Why do I look over and homegirl from camp and Island Boy are actively making out? No. I don't think y'all fucking understand. Actively, profusely making the fuck out. When I tell you my jaw dropped to the ground like a fucking Looney Tune character, I said, what the fucking fuck? First of all, nobody was going to tell me that y'all talk like that. Second of all, bitch, did you know that I had a whole crush on him? Third of all, what the fuck? So what happened after that? I don't know. We may have had like a mini falling out, or I may have remained friends with her. Or what I think happened is I took a break from her. I don't even know if I ever expressed this to her. I might have expressed this to her. But I know that we had another moment where we kind of rekindled. It was just that type of friendship where we kept trying to rekindle and trying to be friends, and then it wouldn't work out. And then we try to be friends again, and then it wouldn't work out. And again, like we both went through an immense amount of trauma. And it's funny because we actually could probably relate to each other's trauma. I think we've been through similar trauma. So it's crazy because I realized that a lot of my friendships mirrored either what I was going through at the time or what I was about to go through or whatever the case may be. But it's so sad. I feel like maybe later on in life, after we've healed a little bit more of what we've been through, then maybe we can reconnect, because I feel like she was a beautiful soul. And I feel like, again, we were on the same path of like a whole bunch of other aspects of life. But I would just never forget that. Does that matter to me now? Like her making out with the guy that I had a crush on? No. Do I think that that's her true character? I don't know, because shortly after that, there were these guys. And they were brothers. And I remember she started fucking talking to I was talking to one of the brothers. And I can't remember. I think she talked to the same brother. Because I remember thinking like, girl, there's a whole other brother. Like, talk to the other brother. I remember just thinking this was a pattern. Like, why are we always talking to the same people? Why do we why? But we were all from the same place. So once again, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe she knew him from home, or I don't even fucking know. I just, at this point, and it's like being a virgin, it's like, let me have it, because not a lot of guys really wanted me. So if a guy wants me, let me fucking have it. This is so random, but I would never forget that same guy told me one time that like he was in the shower and he farted so disgustingly that it made the entire shower stink, and he had to take a whole other shower after that because he made the entire shower stink. So anytime I fart in the shower, I think about him. Like, why do I remember that? Why do I remember that? Oh my God. But yeah, that's a story of women, because it's a pattern Because in the next episode, you're going to hear another pattern. There's a lot of stories in this next episode. Maybe I'll try to spread them out. But you're going to hear there's definitely a pattern of women wanting the things that I have. Specifically, men. It's like, let me fucking have it. Because I don't get this a lot. I didn't. I told y'all I didn't have a lot of swag. But I ended up getting, I guess, my lick back, literally, because fast forward in life, my other quote-unquote friend who ended up turning into a fucking hater, she ended up being with my guy best friend that I had met through Island Boy. And then me and Island Boy ended up talking. And then I remember we went to Coney Island, and maybe for the 4th of July or something like that. And me and Island Boy had finally got to make out. And this is like years later. This is maybe like 5 years later, or 5 years after the incident, 4 years after the incident, with my other friend. But yeah, me and Island Boy finally got to have like our moment or whatever, and have our romantic talk or whatever. I think he might even fingered me like at the pier. Well, I remember that. Because I remember thinking he had a really long fingernail, and I was thinking like, does he do coke off that fingernail? He claimed that he used it to crush his weed. But and that was before I did weed. That was before I smoked. And I used to think like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I would never use my pinky nail to crush up my weed. You just get a fucking grinder, or you do it with your fingertips. But granted, he's a guy, so maybe he didn't have long finger. But then I would just think like, then you'd make your index finger be the one that you, it was giving, I do coke. But whatever, do what you gotta do. Coke's a plant. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to advocate responsibly for plant medicine. Just be responsible. I'm like, responsibly do coke. No, just be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Okay. With that being said, now, I know that I talked about autism, and I guess I should probably like read a definition of what autism is, but I'll just give what I perceive my autism to be, because autism can show up in many different ways. And I feel like I'm supposed to feel like I'm coming out the closet with my autism, but like, I've told friends this, and they've been like, oh, girl, me too. Like, I'm definitely on the spectrum, too. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is why we are friends. This is why I fucking love you. Because neuro-fucking-typical people think that they are so goddamn normal. So why is it that it seems like there are so many more neurodivergent people than neurotypical? And who makes the definition of typical? What is the definition of typical? So let's look up the definition of neurodivergency and neurotypicalness, because I also learned that like having ADHD can be a version of being neurodivergent. All right, so it says, I Googled what is neurotypical versus neurodivergent, and listen to this fucking definition, y'all. While everyone's brain develops similarly, no two brain functions just alike. Being neurodivergent means having a brain that works differently from the average or neurotypical person. Like, deep eye roll. This may be differences in social preferences, ways of learning, ways of communicating, and or ways of perceiving the environment. Does that not sound like a fucking human being to y'all? Tell me one person who's average. Tell me a person who's neurotypical. Tell me who is the fucking standard of how your brain is supposed to be. God, I hate it here. And then it says, what is considered neurodivergent? Neurodivergent is a non-medical umbrella term that describes people with variation in their mental functions and can include conditions such as autism spectrum disorder, which is ASD, or other neurotypical or developmental conditions such as attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. So like, I know for me, my autism shows up in I'll get very overstimulated if there are too many people around me. It's a mix for me between like empathicness and overstimulation. I think it's literally like an overstimulation of energy and just of people around me, of noise. If there's like a repetitive noise, that would really fuck me up. Like, I literally have considered getting noise canceling headphones here, because I will say, like, Mexico is a little bit loud. Like, there's this one dog outside of my apartment that cries all night, and you know me, I'm an animal activist. I'd be wanting to go out there with my picket sign, like, save this dog, save this dog. And I don't know what to do. Like, I'm like, is there a PETA of Mexico? Like, I don't know what the fuck to do, but I can't. Like, there's a meat guy that literally goes down the street with like a meat cart sometimes on the other side, and it's like, carnes, and I'm like, ah! So yeah, there are just certain things. Sometimes I just need a little bit of quiet. And there are times where it's very quiet. I love hearing the birds. That's beautiful. That to me is very peaceful. But other times it's a lot. So I definitely know that I have noise issues. Socially, I can either give very intense eye contact or no eye contact at all, or I overthink the eye contact. So I'll be like, oh, I'm looking away for too long. Let me look at them. I'm staring for too long. Let me look away. Okay, let me look back at them now. Should I look at their left eye or their right eye? I'm gonna look in the middle of their head. Are my eyes crossing? Can they tell that I'm looking in the middle of their head? So that's how it shows up in some ways. I think that some of what I call people pleasing is what is masking, and I'll look up the definition of masking. Masking is referring to when you hide your authentic self in an effort to gain greater social acceptance. The cost of camouflaging your true personality and emotions can add up exponentially, causing you to experience a sense of loss, anxiety, and depression. Learning about masking is how to deal with it. That was blanket. Okay, will do. But yeah, that's just like some random Google search. But definitely, I've definitely masked to try to, I guess, camouflage, to read the room, to try to, I guess sometimes social cues can be hard depending on where you're at on the spectrum. And for me, it's not necessarily social cues from other people, but it's like how I should act. Does that make sense? I'm still really growing through it and working through it, but I just wanted to make sure I talked about it in this episode and just started the conversation. And I'd love to hear your opinions as well. Again, hit me up. My emails are open. My DMs are not. So please do not DM me for any advice. Send your questions or comments or stories to theloveatiyaexperience.com. So, I'm sorry, theloveatiyaexperience@gmail.com so we can talk about it. So yes, that's where my neurodivergency talk ends right now, because I want to learn more about it and really have like a convo with y'all. And I'd love to have some more neurodivergent people on my podcast so we can talk about this. But I would like to share my masturbation tip before we go, because my ankle literally still has a fucking cramp in it from me literally orgasming so fucking hard thanks to this tip. And this tip is very, 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 very easy to do. Anyone can do it. First things first, if you are looking for a source to get your plant medicine from, I highly recommend heavenhighnyc.com. You go to that website, you sign up for their menu. They'll send you the menu. The shipping is so fucking fast. If you're in New York, they deliver. Customer service is the best customer service I have ever fucking received from a plant medicine company ever. Everything's legit. So be sure to sign up and mention Loveatiya in your order, and you make it an extra little something. So be sure to mention my name. And then if you are looking for amazing accessories, because I'm so tired of y'all wearing these shits that are making your ears green, or these cheap looking ass earrings and stuff, like stop. There are high quality things out there. And one of those high quality companies is imanijewelry.com. Now, one thing that you don't know is that my mom is the owner of imanijewelry.com. She has been in business for 40 years, y'all. 40 years. And she hand makes every single thing herself. Everything. So please check out imanijewelry.com, and you can use the code LOVEATIYA for 10% off of your order. But the crazy thing about it is that none of her earrings match. So if you have really eclectic style and really funky taste, then I definitely recommend going to Imani Jewelry. She also has things that can be for someone who may consider themselves more conservative, but it's like conservative with style. Conservative with razzle dazzle, because my mom is far from conservative. So yes, be sure to check out imanijewelry.com. And of course, with this masturbation tip, because I masturbated with my Lilo Tiani Duo 2, then we want to shout out Shopsadora again, shopsadora.com. Use the code LOVEATIYA to get 15% off your order, okay? Again, Black-owned, women-operated, one of my favorite freaking sex toy companies. I would not steer you wrong. Please be sure to support. All right. So now it's time for this masturbation tip. Again, if you have signed up for my email blast, you know this tip already because it went out today. What's that from? TikTok, Cardi B. So the masturbation tip is very simple. Grab your motherfucking inside of your thighs when you feel like you're about to come. Actually, feel free to caress and grab throughout the whole motherfucking experience. When I tell you that I grabbed the inside of my thigh in my entire body, first of all, it feels like somebody else is doing it. It is very much so an outer body experience. Oh my fucking God, my cheeks hurt from smiling so hard. It feels like an out of body experience. I have goosebumps talking about it. my body is still recovering from it. I told you I still have a cramp in my like ankle. What is this? What part of the body is this? My tendon? I don't even fucking know. I have a cramp from last night. My whole body tremendously shook as soon as I grabbed my thigh. Fuck grabbing a pillow. Where did we learn that from? No, grab your thigh. First of all, your thigh is an erogenous zone. And I don't know if you've ever peeped, but if you've ever given your partner a head and grabbed their thigh or kissed their thigh, it is extremely sensitive. When I get head and somebody kisses my thigh, I can definitely say there's definitely more waterworks than when people just focus on my clit. You really have to focus around. If somebody kisses my mons pubis, my thigh, my fucking outer lip, like anything other than just my clit, I think that honestly is what makes me so aroused. And that's why the head in Mexico was so good. Like I feel like he was all over everywhere. But anyways, I say all that to say I had a little bit of a flashback just now. Grab your fucking thigh. No. All right. Life changing. Oh my God. Thank me later. I'm going to leave y'all with that. You can check out the archive if you're not signed up for my Pleasure Positive email blast, and then you will see this tip in the archive. And it's also in my blogs. Oh, by the way, I've made all my blogs free. So you don't have to pay for them. They're not $2 anymore. They're free. You don't have to buy a membership for this. I will end up doing a membership eventually, but I just have to reformat that, and I got time for that right now. So enjoy. I wrote some really good stuff. I have maybe like 5 blogs up, plus the archives for my Pleasure Positive email blast. So yes, I love y'all so much. This is such a fun episode. I really had so much fun recording this. We got into it, y'all. We talked about so much stuff, and there's so much more to talk about. I'm excited to be in Mexico and be able to batch my content again so I can really just give stuff to y'all the way that I want to without being energetically depleted. And just believe me, this podcast, we've only just begun to leave roses and promises. That's my jam. Okay, anyways, I love y'all so much, and please give yourself a hug for me. And by the way, I don't know if y'all know, but that's in honor of my grandma. Every time that we would end a phone conversation, she'd literally say, give yourself a hug for me, or I'd say, give yourself a hug for me. So yeah, give yourself a hug for me, and be kind to yourself, be kind to animals, and fucking grab your thigh. I love y'all.